What's poppin'? So with WBE heading towards the end stretch of the season, I figured now would be a great time to transition us into the next draft league that we're going to be a part of, and that is going to be the APA, which we've been a part of before in the past. Now, this season in particular is going to be a ton of fun due to the fact that a lot of our friends are going to be in it. And just to name a few that are very close to us, we have Joey Pokeyam going to be a part of the season of the league. Chimpact coming back out of retirement from playing Draft League, and he's going to be in this season as well. But that's not even the best part. Let me tell you what the best part is. Two of my good friends who have not been in Draft League before are going to be in this season of the APA. Mr. Jamvat Academy, shoutouts, is going to be doing his first Draft League for this season. And then my boy Moet, the Mr. Moet, is going to be in this as well. So I'm excited to play all of my friends here. And of course, we have some pretty good friends from WBE and AP as well. So I'm excited to play everybody. It's going to be a 12-week season and a bit longer than WBE, but that should give you guys some great and fantastic content, I should say. But yeah, so let me talk about the rules before we get into the Pokemon that I drafted. So every draft league, you already know, every draft league has its own separate rules, I guess. Kind of, they're all kind of different in a way. This draft league in particular is 20 coaches, so it's actually split into 2 separate drafts. To me, that's kind of like a double-edged sword in a way, because firstly, I mean, I guess the positive is that we get to draft a pretty good team. If there's only 10 coaches on each side in each draft, that leaves us plenty of powerful Pokemon to pick up. Now, the downside is that, let's say, for example, you pick up a Gigantamax Pokemon. In drafts, I guess, you can pick up a Gigantamax Mon, and the regular Pokemon of that Gigantamax Pokemon is still available to draft. Now, if there's 2 drafts, let's say you pick up a Gigantamax Snorlax or something. Now, someone else can pick up a regular Snorlax, and then in the other draft, someone else can pick up a Gigantamax Snorlax and a regular Snorlax. So it's possible to face 3 of the same Pokemon, which is kind of annoying to prep for, in particular, especially if you have a bad matchup versus a certain Pokemon. You face multiple copies and whatever in separate drafts. But yeah, like that's why I said it's a double-edged sword, right? Because you get to pick up a good team, but you have the possibility, or you're kind of guaranteed to face some of the Pokemon that you picked up in the draft. That's kind of what I didn't really like overall, but it's still a lot of fun, I think. Now, another, I guess, sort of caveat to this draft is that Gigantamax Pokemon are nerfed in a certain way in this draft league in particular, because they wanted to, I guess, sort of limit what a Gigantamax Pokemon can do. And so the way that they did that was by restricting its item. Every Gigantamax Pokemon must hold a Pokeball, which is a little bit annoying, but it does help in a sense. So a Gigantamax Pokemon can't run an item that can maybe resist an attack like with a berry, or it can't run a damaging boosting attack like with a Life Orb, for instance. So it has to hold a Pokeball. I guess that sort of nerfs it really well, or I guess better in a sense than what it would have been if it could run any item. But you can still run, or you could still draft a Pokemon and use the move Trick to trade items and steal an item that is actually competitive. So that's another strategy I have to keep in mind in this draft as well. So let's get into it. Let's talk about the picks that I have here. I've sort of given you guys some background about this draft, and I'm excited to show you guys what I picked up. So the first Pokemon that I got here was going to be Tier 1. A Tier 1 Pokemon. Before I actually reveal this Pokemon, this draft in particular is a Pokemon Home based draft, because Pokemon Home was released before we started drafting for this league, so we can bring in Pokemon from home. There's a bunch of transferable Mons that were not previously in the game, so my first pick is going to be Necrozma. I think Necrozma is fantastic. It has great coverage. Mew is banned, but like Necrozma is sort of a second Mew in a sense, because it has some really great coverage options that it can run. Versatility is fantastic. It gets access to Dragon Dance now, which is really cool because it has a really solid physical move pool. Like, for example, Photon Geyser, which is a signature move, it becomes physical or special based on whichever offensive stat is higher. And that's great because Dragon Dance can work well in tandem with that. And then You also have like Earthquake knockoff and stuff like that too, which works on the physical side. Then it has a special move pool. It's Calm Mind, and then you know, it still has recovery moves with Moonlight and stuff, as well as having the ability Prism Armor to weaken, or sort of like, I guess, very subtly weaken its super effective attacks that are directed towards it. I think, if not mistaken, the percentage is like 0.75 or so. So it can sponge hits. Maybe, I mean, it's like a Pokemon that can really run a weakness policy well, due to the fact that it can reduce the damage output from super effective hits. So that might be fun. I think it's a really fun mon to use overall. It can double its speed with like Atomizer Rock Polish. It has access to every move that comes from Pokemon Home, as well as the new moves that it can learn in the game. So I'm excited to try it out, and it used to be my past mascot, if you guys remember. I mean, I don't know if you've been here that long, but if you've been here a while on the channel, if you've been with me for a bit, you guys will probably remember that I used to run like a Metagross mascot. After that, when X and Y came out, I changed it to a Guzzlord, and then I think that was Sun and Moon. But yeah, like it became like Guzzlord after that for some time, and then Necrozma. And then Hoopar, and then like I've been changing it here and there just because like I like a lot of these mons, but Necrozma is fantastic. Excited to use it for this league, and see what it can do in this metagame with the limited number of mons that are in the game currently. Then we have GMAX Grimmsnarl, which is my second Pokemon that I picked up here. I had to pick this up, right? The second Pokemon. I mean, like I'm surprised it made it back to me. But GMAX Grimmsnarl is great because, as you have seen me use it in the WBE, it is the #1 kill leader I had, and even with the Pokeball, I'm pretty sure it can still put in the work. It doesn't even need an item to do well. And like for instance, if I want to, I can run Trick on it. GMAX Grimmsnarl is one of 3 Pokemon that you can draft that has the move Trick, or a move that can exchange items and trade your Pokeball away. Even though this has to hold a Pokeball, I can give it away with Trick. The other 2 mons that I can do that I think are Gengar and Orbeetle. So I think those also got drafted too. But like I get Gigantamax, Grimmsnarl, and Necrozma. I think it's pretty cool. I think that also it can still like bulk up and like do whatever it can do, and just destroy teams really well, even without the item. Joey on the other side, he was #1 pick. He picked up Melmetal first, which is really good. He also on the other side got the Gigantamax Grimmsnarl too, because of me, because of what I've been doing with it in the WBE. So yeah, that's gonna be interesting to see. I'm pretty sure we also face each other too, so it's gonna be like a GMAX Grimmsnarl versus GMAX Grimmsnarl matchup there. But yeah, not much to say about this Pokemon. It's a great one. We also have Toxtricity as well from tier 2. GMAX Grimmsnarl was a tier 1 Gigantamax Pokemon, which reduced the number of free points that we have. If you guys don't know, like free points in the draft league works such that you have like a total of 400 or so. But if you get like a tier 1 Mega or Gigantamax, it was Mega in previous leagues, but Gigantamax now, it can reduce your points in total. But Toxtricity I picked up here from tier 2. I think it was a really good deal on our end here. If you can see from the image, it's like the low-key form, but I can use both forms. I just like the color scheme of this one. Toxtricity can do a ton of stuff. It has the Punk Rock ability, so it boosts sound type attacks. It has Overdrive, Boom Burst, and Poison moves. Shift Gear, fantastic move there. And then it has a really great physical move pool that I can use with stuff like Drain Punch, Fire Punch, even Gunk Shot, for instance. Pretty cool moves overall, I think. Has some nice utility as well. Offensive stats are great. Base 98 attack is alright. It's pretty good. Base 114 special attack with the boosting sound moves. Because sound moves are like special and stuff. So you really work well with that with your special attack. And then a lot of great items you can run too. Grounded Poison as well. So it is my T-Spike Absorber, and it works great. Paired with Necrozma to get rid of T-Spikes. It'd be a Toxic Absorber for it. And yeah, I do like it a lot. It's great also for dealing with fairy types for Gigantamax Grimmsnarl. So you can kind of see the synergy. I have like these Pokemon to help Necrozma out. Grimmsnarl can help Necrozma out by getting rid of, I I guess some kinds of dark types and stuff because of its fairy type attacks and things. Toxicity helps versus poisons and stuff, and being able to, I guess, be the poison absorber, fairy types as well. And it does really great work, I think. I've never used it in draft. I've never used Necrozma or Toxicity in draft, but I'm excited to try it out. Then we also have our next Pokemon here, which is going to be our tier 3 Pokemon here, Noivern. I wanted to try Noivern in draft. This thing is really fast, base 123 speed, with a decent amount of special attack. It's not the best special attack, but it has two useful abilities in Frisk and Infiltrator. Frisk can be just like Grimmsnarl, kind of tell me information about their team based on the item that they have, and then Infiltrator, which is like a huge ability in terms of what it can do. It's able to bypass Substitute and also Light Screen, Reflect, and Aurora Veil. So that in itself is really useful. It also is a great defogger, I think, due to the fact that it can run heavy duty boots. It has Roost defog as well, so it can be solid utility. And offensively, it works well with like choice specs. This thing can work really well both offensively and I guess kind of defensively too. It's sort of like, I guess it can kind of act as a Tornadus Therian of this generation. Right now, at least, before it is available to use in game. This is the closest thing to it, I think. It is a dragon type, so we do complete our, fairy dragon core. We still need our steel type. But yeah, like the speed that it has some pretty great coverage overall. Nice recovery, defog as well, defog option there too, and U-turn. So it gives us Volt Turn core with Toxicity, being able to get that momentum going, generate that nice switching out here and there can be cool. But yeah, like I'm excited to use this Pokemon too. I think for the value of tier 3, it's really solid. I think one of the best tier 3 dragons. If not, like, I mean, I feel like this thing could also be, I mean, I don't know if it could be tier 2 or not, but like tier 3 I think is a great deal for what it can do. And it's another sound Pokemon just like Toxicity, so even without Infiltrator, this thing can run like Boom Burst or whatever and go through subs. I can't wait to run like some really creative sets with this thing. Never used it before, so I'm excited. So then the next Pokemon we have here is gonna be another tier 2 Pokemon, and I figured, so this taps into my free points, of course, but I still have a decent like amount, and I think the team that we're going to be picking up overall is really fun. This Pokemon that I picked up here is something that I've used before in the past. Unlike, of course, the Necrozma, Toxicity, and Noivern, I'm pretty familiar with how to use this Pokemon. It's going to be Cobalion, tier 2. And Cobalion is a great stealth rocker as well. So it works similarly to Necrozma in the sense that it can either be an offensive sweeper on either the physical or special side. We got Swords Dance and Calm Mind both on this thing with good special attacks and physical attacks too. And it also has Stealth Rocks just like Necrozma. So this Pokemon can be my second Stealth Rocker or backup Stealth Rocker. I can run it on either Necrozma or Cobalion so far, and then my Noivern is my Hazard Control Mon. Great speed tier, base 108, so it does speed tie stuff like the Keldeos and Virizions, Terrakias and stuff too, so it's a really good speed tier, I think, overall. With the coverage that it has, it's really nice. I think now it gets Mega Horn and like Air Slash and stuff too, so like it has some other options that it can do, some nice tech moves as well, so excited to try out Musketeer once again, bringing him back for another draft season. And yeah, it's a really fun mon to use. I think it's kind of underrated a little bit in this metagame just because of the limited number of mons. I think that Cobalion is a bit stronger than it was back in the day. Even though there are no Z moves and stuff, I think it can still put in some work. And it also gives me a Volt Switcher as well, which adds on to my Volt Turn core that I'm already forming here with Toxicity and Noivern. So Cobalion is here. That completes my Dragon Fairy Steel. Even though this is not a great Fairy Sponge due to the fact that it is a part Fighting type, I do have Toxicity, which annihilates a lot of Fairy types in the game. So then next Pokemon here is a sort of Pokemon that can sponge hits really well. I wanted to add a Pokemon that can also check Dracovish. A Water Absorb or a Storm Drain Pokemon is pretty essential, I think, because Dracovish can like 2 KO any Pokemon that takes damage from it, basically. I picked up a distant relative of Chinese Seismitoad. We have here Chinese Gastrodon. And like I said, this is a distant relative. Of course, I'll be running a lot of intricate EV spreads on this thing too, but like I said, the biggest plus of this Pokemon is the fact that it has Storm Drain, and that will make it immune to water type attacks. Instead of healing it, it will boost its special attack by 1. And this thing has a pretty decent special attack and a lot of coverage moves that go with it really well. I think it's great because of the fact that it has no hidden power weakness in this game. There are no hidden power moves available to Pokemon, so it doesn't have to worry about a random hidden power grass. It just has to worry about whatever moves a Pokemon has that can be easily looked up. And I think that it's great because water ground types are very helpful versus the two big dragon fossils, Dracovish and Dracozolt. So great check to those, and very useful ability to Storm Drain. Not much else to say here. It's pretty bulky, so yeah, great recovery as well. It trades Stealth Rocks. It doesn't have Stealth Rocks or whatever with like Seismitoad does, but it does have recovery with Recover. So that in itself is great. Now the next Pokemon I picked up here is another Hazard Control Mon, and it's a new Pokemon as well to Sword and Shield. We have here Eldegoss. Now I picked up Eldegoss due to the fact that it's the only Grass type regenerator Mon in this game. There's no Tangrowth or anything. I think Regen is a pretty solid ability. Great Pokemon to switch in and switch out of. Being able to pivot really well. Rapid Spin, it has that, so it can provide as an alternate form of a Hazard Control. It's a really good solid Grass type. Doesn't not have the best coverage. Like if I pick up a Pokemon, it's really because I pick it up due to versatility. Pokemon like Necrozma, Grimmsnarl, Toxtricity, Noivern, and Cobalion, even Gastrodon, they all have versatility. But Eldegoss does not have versatility at all, really. Like if you look at it, like it has a grass move and probably that's it. Maybe like it has some other coverage, but like not much at all. It's very bare, like the bare minimum of coverage you can get. But for the utility that it has, I think it was a worthwhile pickup. And also the shiny form, I like the colors. Like honestly, I like the color of this Pokemon. I mean, this thing still has Leech Seed, Sleep Powder, Poison Powder, Stun Spore. It's got the Spore moves. It's got like a lot of ways of utility. Like I said, Rapid Spin to get rid of hazards. Leech Seed is also cool, and Regen can heal ourselves back up. So it's really good utility with the team. Maybe I can try to find some ways to make it creative and bring some cool tech. I mean, it also has aromatherapy, so it can heal status moves as well, or status options on our Pokemon. But yeah, that's sort of Eldegoss in a nutshell there. Very high SPDEF and decently high defense, with an HP stat where it's not the best, but it can recover with the Regenerator. It also has Cotton Down, which is a new ability, lowers speed of Pokemon when it's hit by an attack, so maybe that can come into play. But Eldegoss can do what it does best as a spinner / regenerator pivot. Now the next Pokemon here is a Pokemon that has recently been available due to the fact that Pokemon Home came out, similarly to Necrozma and Cobalion, which we have picked up already so far. We also have now access to regular Darmanitan, Tier 2. Darmanitan, unlike its cousin Galarian Darmanitan, is not banned from OU. It is perfectly viable to use. This thing hits extremely hard. I was tempted to try it out, and I kind of fell for that temptation. It's a very frail Pokemon though. It will probably not take hits very well at all with its defenses, but it's a nuke. It is a Pokemon that can come in, click an attack, do a ton of damage, and get out of there. It has U-turn. Now I think it also has access to some new moves such as Trick. It can trick a Choice Scarf. It can trick a Choice Band too. So that could be pretty fun. I do have access to running a Sheer Force or Zen mode, so maybe if I like make playoffs or something, I can bring some Zen mode sets to try out too, which could be pretty fun to stunt, or just for some thumbnails or something that can that you guys can be excited for. But yeah, Darmanitan, fantastic Pokemon. With Sheer Force, it hits extremely hard. Flare Blitz I think also works under Sheer Force too, if I'm not mistaken. So so yeah, like it should be a ton of fun to use. Great coverage, and yeah, pretty nice wall breaker. Now, next I have here my tier 4 Pokemon. So in the tier 4 and tier 5, especially tier 5, like there were not a lot of great Pokemon overall. It wasn't that great, but I picked up Pokemon that I thought would be great for me, or Pokemon that I have used before, that I've enjoyed, or that I've seen, and that I think have potential. I picked up a Frostmoth next. Frostmoth, Ice Bug. It's very rock weak, fire weak, very weak to a lot of attacks, but it has an incredible special attack. It has Quiver Dance as well. So, I mean, it's kind of a stretch to say that this thing is like a Volcarona, but it kind of is like a Volcarona in the sense that it can Quiver Dance and hits very hard, but not the best speed stats, and has no recovery with Roost. But I can still run a heavy duty boots on it, and I mean, it still has a defog, so I can do that. Has Quiver Dance, some coverage that can work really well. I don't recall if anybody drafted Toxapex or not, but I don't think anybody drafted Toxapex. Maybe somebody did, but I don't think I faced anyone with the Toxapex. So that's why I think that Frostmoth can be good here, because there's not much that can wall it outside of that Pokemon. Maybe steel types, but like we have ways of breaking those. It has some pretty good utility too. Like it has Stun Spore and stuff as well. Like I said, defog and things like it can, like any Pokemon that's really weak to rocks can still be an effective defogger if they run heavy duty boots, because that allows them to switch into into stealth rocks and then defog. So it can do that. But it has the ability Ice Scales, which can reduce special attacks from this Pokemon. Then that could sort of like make it more bulkier on the special side. But yeah, moving on. Next Pokemon here, I drafted another Pokemon that is transferred from Pokemon Home. That is going to be a regular Stunfisk, not Galarian. So this is of course the Ground Electric tier 5 Pokemon. I think this was like one of the best tier 5s, because I'm pretty biased about Stunfisk. If you've watched my channel in the past, you've seen my Stunfisk Avalugg cores. You've also seen that I've peaked number 1 in OU with a Stunfisk. I did that back in X and Y. I do have the proof of that too, with the ranking screenshot and the team that I made. I posted it on the forum. It's such a fun mon to use. Like, it has great coverage. It's another backup Stealth Rocker, another backup Ground type as well. In case Gastrodon has a bad matchup, I can bring this thing if I need to. Great utility overall. Static, which randomly paralyzes a Pokemon that touches it with like U-turn and stuff. It can Foul Play so that it prevents Pokemon from setting up on it on the physical side. Discharge can also get additional paras as well. Earth Power hits pretty hard too. Great coverage, like I said. It also has Curse, so it can set up. Like, this thing is so much fun. I love Stunfisk a lot. I've used Stunfisk a lot in the past too. Not ever in a draft league, but like on the ladder, I've terrorized teams with this thing. So I'm excited to try it out again. For a draft league this time, and put in the work with it. I think as a tier 5, it's very valuable, at least more valuable than other tier 5s that I've picked up in the past. I guess Rotom was really good back in WBE too, but I kind of see this thing as sort of like that. I think it can put in work if I bring the right set. But yeah, Stunfisk here, bringing it for tier 5. And the final Pokemon of this draft league that I'm going to be picking up is going to be a tier 4 Dubwool. The baton pass rules in this league is that you can only baton pass nothing, no stats, but like you can baton pass a sub, or you can baton pass regularly without any stat boosts. So it can do that, but other than that, like, this thing is a normal type. It gives me the typing that I don't have. Like, I picked up Pokemon that give me a very diverse set of typings. Pokemon that can also sweep. Dubwool can sweep. Believe it or not, like, this thing can Cotton Guard up and body press things and do tons of damage based on its pretty high base 100 defense stat. It can do work with that. Can also Swords Dance too, so it can do that. It also has agility if it needs to do. But I mean, it can't baton pass that. But as a normal type Pokemon, I can run Fluffy. I can run Steadfast. I can run hidden abilities too. Remember, I can run because of the fact. So in this league, I don't know if I mentioned it or not, but like I said, this league is Pokemon Home based, so you can run Pokemon that you obtain from Pokemon Home. But also you can run hidden abilities even if they're not released. I'm probably not going to do that, but I know like Joey picked up Rillaboom and he can run Grassy Terrain on it even if it's not released. How he's going to do that, you ask? He's probably going to hack it. Like, he's probably going to hack his Pokemon. everybody can do that if they want to. If they have a Pokemon that has a hidden ability that they can't access, because we battled through a LAN mode, which is not using Wi-Fi's hack checks and whatever. But for my team, I picked a Pokemon that I can just get normally and use normally. Like, I don't really have abilities that are locked behind not being released, other than Double. But like, why wouldn't I want to run Fluffy? Like Fluffy Double, like that's what I want to run there. But yeah, so that's gonna be my team. I hope you all enjoyed this this draft recap, or sort of draft analysis, I guess, talking about my team and the potential of it. Like I said, I've not used a lot of these Pokemon before, so it probably is gonna be a little bit of a curve to get used to it. But I hope we can do that quickly. And I don't doubt that we can make playoffs. But there's a lot of great competition in this season of the league, especially with a lot of my friends being in it, like Janvad, Moet, Chimp, Joey, and whatever. It's gonna be a tough one, but either way, you know, it's great content for you guys to watch, and I just wanted to be a part of another draft league since WBE was around the corner of being done anyways. Yeah, thank you everybody for watching. I look forward to hearing from you all, what you guys think about the team as well. You know, I hope you all enjoy this team. Like, I drafted some mons that were my favorites, or just Pokemon that I really like in general, or that I wanted to try out. So yeah, let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you guys on the next video, and peace.